In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 tips for uplifting or leveling up your next model photography session. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead with this video. Hi everyone, my name is Karan Sharma and welcome back to the channel. And the very first tip which I would like to share with you guys is that always begin your photography session from a lower angle shot. Now the reason why I'm saying this because we photographers know that the couple of shots which we take in the beginning are somewhat just experimental or trial shots, and we are just trying to figure out the lighting, composition and the flash power. And especially when we are running low on time, like in my case I only had an hour, so I knew that I cannot waste any time, so I resorted upon the evergreen low angle shot. Not only a low angle shot would make your subject look more powerful and stronger, but it would also bring out the best in the place or the environment where he, she or them are actually standing. Coming to tip number 2, always try to shoot through something. By this I mean that always try to have a foreground in the picture. Now what is a foreground? So a foreground is basically, for example, this is my tripod's plate, but consider this as something which is in between the camera and me. I'm the subject, this is the camera, and if I put something in between of my camera, this would be a foreground. Now this is a foreground and that is a background which is behind the subject. Now when we put or add a foreground in the picture, it actually spices or makes the picture look more interesting. You might have seen several movies or several directors adding a foreground in the picture, and you might have not even realized that why the scene looks so cool. Coming to tip number 3, and this is by far the one of the most easiest, simplest and most interesting pose which your model or client can do. All you need to do is just make your subject stand in the middle of the road or in the middle of the street. Wherever you are, just make them stand in the middle and ask them or tell them to walk towards the camera slowly, or they can run towards the camera too. And I would suggest you, if your camera has a burst mode which can take high frames pictures in 1 second, like my R3 can take 12 frames per second in burst mode and 30 frames per second in electronic, then switch it to that. Ask them to walk towards the camera and take multiple pictures. In my case, I took probably around 50 pictures, and these are some of the pictures which always turn out to be really amazing, and your client always picks some of the pictures among these pictures. Coming to tip number 4, and that is, if you live in a metropolitan area or in a city. Now this tip may apply to some people and it may be relative to some people, and it may vary from person to person. So I asked my subject to actually stand right at the corner of 2 conjoining buildings. So 2 conjoining buildings would be 2 buildings who are conjoining and who make a triangle shape. So if you can actually find a spot where there is a building, 2 buildings making a shape, or an architecture exists where 2 buildings are actually joining and they make a triangle shape like this, as you can see in the picture, then ask them to actually stand right in the middle. And now you can actually try adding or making a mixture of the first tip and the third tip. Like in my case, I actually took a lower angle shot. You can shoot through a foreground too, and also you can place them in the middle, which I did in my case, and you can clearly see that how amazing these pictures are. Before even beginning your photo shoot, try to always have a 15-20 minute physical conversation with your client. Irrespective of the fact whether you had a word or conversation with your client on social media, maybe phone, or maybe on chat, make this a rule or a principle, or I would say make this mandatory for yourself to always try having a physical conversation with your client prior to your photography session. The reason why I'm saying this, because many clients are not models and they are socially awkward, and it's your responsibility as a photographer to remove that social awkwardness. And by having that conversation with him, her or them, it would actually make them feel comfortable, remove up to some extent that social awkwardness which they might be holding. Like in my case, my client was a little socially awkward, and that's why he purposely chose 6 a.m. in the morning, the timing for the photography session. So we did that session, But before beginning that session, I tried having a 15-20 minute conversation, or maybe 10 minutes conversation with him if you are running low on time. And this would help them in coming out to be more confident or reduce that social anxiety which they might be holding in them. So that's it, guys. Those were the 6 tips which I wanted to share with you guys. And in case if I provided you any sort of value in this video, and if you felt like this video helped you in any way, make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep creating, keep experimenting. Namaste.